factor the first one? You probably know better than I do.
Subtract, never mind. You add the y.
You add the y's. When they say factor common terms, you first look for common terms. What are the common terms to both?
Three.
3. Okay. What else? Someone said x, someone said y. It's only one x or two x's? Two x's. So I'll put an x squared there. Now, once you factor the 3 out of this, you will do 3 divided by 3 is 1. X squared divided by x cubed is x. Y divided by y, all the y gone. Minus 15 divided by 3, 5. X squared divided by x squared, 1, nothing. And y divided by y is 1. So that's it. You say this twice, so let me stress over it. What if I say 2 divided by 2? What is this equal to? 1. What about y over y? 1. So when you divide identical terms, you get 1, not 0.
Oh, you don't use it.
You don't use it. You don't write it again. Because anything times 1 is... I got you all again. What's 5 times 1? 5. Anything times 1 is itself. All right, let's look at number 2. Do we have anything in common? Both right. There's a 2. There's an x. And if you factor 2x out of 2x to the power of 5, what's left? X to the power of 4. And I listen to you too. And what about 2x squared? What's left? 4x. What about the last one? Plus 1. You see how important the 1 is now. Sometimes it's very important. Can I factor anything else in here? No, I cannot, because this one does not have an x. So this is it. This is as far as you can go on this. That's the answer. Yep, that's it. All right, let's do a little game. It's not quite a game, but I call it a game. If I give you x squared minus 1 and I ask you to factor, what is it? Let's go a little faster on this, because you should know this. X minus 1 times x plus 1. It is called the difference of square. Let's see if you will get this now. What about x squared minus 4? X plus 2 and x minus 2. How about this? Yes, you got it. X plus 3, x minus 3. How about I trick you all now? How about this? You should know this too. 2x plus 3 and 2x minus 3. So you think I can't trick you, right? How about this? Okay. I have another one.
Bring it on.
That's 1.
Z minus 1, Z plus 1.
And this is where I win. I trick y'all. You always start with the first element. So it's 1 plus z and 1 minus z. Not z minus 1, z plus 1.
I'm confused. I'm confused. I'm so confused.
Now, let me show you this. When I say x squared minus 9, what did you say? You say it was x minus 3, x plus 3. Why you start with x? Because that was the first element. When I say 4x squared minus 9, you say 2x because it came from here. When I say 1 minus z, guess what you're going to start with? 1,
Okay.
not z. You always start with the first element. 1 plus z, 1 minus z. What's the difference? 1 minus z might be negative. So it will change the sign of the original one.
So
I told you I was going to win. Let's go back to this. This will be a piece of cake now that we practice. Huh? The z was the one with the negative in front. How about this? Now that you know it, what is it? 5x plus 1 and 5x minus 1. Very good. How about this?
6
Sure.
And 6y plus 7. It will be the case every single time you have something like this. Every time you have a difference of 2 squared, you must use the a plus b, a minus b. All right, let's go ahead and continue. Yes, ma'am. So on the first one, let's go ahead and try to figure out what's the value of a. What do you think a is?
2.
Only 2? 2x. And what do you think b is? 5. Now, how will you know if you don't know that the cubic, I just answered it. To find out this value, find the cubic root of this. You know how to find the cubic root on your calculator? You positive or you want me to show you?
Show us.
Okay. To find the cubic root, give me a second while my calculator comes up. To find the cubic root, you type that 125. You have the old or the new software. I have the new one, so with the old one, I think all you have to do is press mat, and cube root is number 4. So mat 4, and if I'm looking for the cube root of 125, and it give me 5. Now, let's go back to this. So you got the 5, you got the 2x, and the sign in between is plus. So the first parenthesis, will it have a plus or the minus?
Plus.
Plus, same sign. After the same sign, we need opposite sign and always positive. There are values that will go in here. The first value is a squared. So let's go ahead and square a. If you square a, what do you get? 4x squared. And if you do a times b, what do you get? A times b. You get 10x, right? And if you square b, you get 25. Okay, so I would start by putting inside the first parenthesis, I need a minus b. So it will be 3y minus 1. Zoe, what's the first thing that will go into the second parenthesis? 9y squared. I asked you because I want to make sure that you knew, since you asked this earlier. Well, after same sign, we need opposite sign. And the last one is always positive. What's in between? 3y's. And what's the last one? 1. That's it.
That's it.
That's it. That's the answer. Now, even if you don't understand the top, this one should be a piece of cake for you. Factor by grouping. Your job is to put 2 by 2s and factor them. So let's focus first on the first 2. So I will focus on this one first. And once I'm done with the, I'll focus on these. Once I'm done with those, I will take the last 2. So let's start with the first 2. What do they have in common? The 3 and x what power? Square. Now, once we take 3x squared, what's left? Minus x minus 6. Now, the last 2, your goal is to also get x minus 6 for the second one. So you got x minus 6 here, you want to have x minus 6 so that you will keep factoring. So what do you think you're going to factor out of these 2? A positive or negative? A negative 7, so that you will have an x. Because if you factor a positive 7, you will have a negative x. So you take out the whole negative 7, and negative 7 times what will give you 42? Negative 6. Now, again, we have 2 factors. This is the first one, and this is the second one. So I will factor x minus 6 out of both, and put the leftover in here, which is 3x squared minus 7. Although this is not fully factored, I will stop there. Because this one, later on you will understand, it can also be the difference of 2 squared, meaning square root of 3x plus square root of 7, square root of 3x minus square root of 7. Just like we did previously. But let's stop there. That's the answer. That's good enough for me. Let's look at number 8. Let's do a little faster. These 2, what do they have in common? An x and a y. Once you factor it, what's left? 2 plus x. Last 2, what do they have in common? 3. And you have again 2 plus x. Once you take 2 plus x out of both, what's the leftover?
Yeah, plus 3.
Xy plus 3. Life is beautiful. Easy. This is too easy, right? Hopefully it gets harder. Yeah, because this one so far. All right, this is the good part. Factoring trinomials. In most of my classes, what I usually say is, which one is the product? The last one is called the product, and the middle one is called the sum. So you're trying to find two numbers that the product will give you negative 18, and the sum will give you negative 7. What are those two numbers? Negative 2 and... Now, it's true and false. Negative 2 and 9. What's negative 2 times 9? What's negative 2 plus 9? Positive 7. So you want negative 9 and positive 2. So the two numbers are negative 9 and positive 2. Here's the trick. I heard I don't get it. Your goal is to find two numbers that the product gives you the last thing and the sum gives you the middle. That's in case you have nothing in front of it, like this. Right? Now, to find the product, it's your job to think about those two numbers that the product will give you negative 18 and the sum will give you negative 7. If you have one of those brains that will not think at a specific time, go ahead and get your calculator. On the y equal, I want you to type your product and divide it by x, meaning what? Negative 18 over x. And on the other one, you type your sum, which is negative 7 minus x. In other words, I'm doing the opposite operation. The product, I'm doing divide. The sum, I'm doing minus. And go to your table. That's just a trick. Once you get to your table, your goal is to find numbers that have identical y's. Guess what? When I look at my y's, negative 9 and 2 will be my two numbers. You look for identical y, and you get the first two numbers. So once you get those two numbers, I will show you first the steps, and then I will show you shortcuts. The step here will be to write it as x squared. You use those two numbers, minus 9x plus 2x minus 18. In other words, what I did was I replaced this negative 7x by these two numbers that I found. You get that, right? Now I will factor by grouping. These two have an x in common to get x minus 9, and these last two we have a 2 in common to get again x minus 9. So my final answer is x minus 9 times x plus 2. Now the trick about this is, if there's no number in front of this, the two numbers you found will go inside the parentheses. You see the 9 and 2? Here they are. If there's no number in front of x squared, those two numbers go right down. So let's look at number 10. What are the two numbers that the product gives you? Positive 24 and the sum will give you negative 10. Negative 4, negative 6. They say negative 4 and negative 6. What is your product? That's negative. Your product is what? 24, right? And what's your sum? Negative 10. So that's perfect. Now, someone may have, I heard this one. I heard negative 12 and 2. What's the problem with this? The product will give you what? Negative 24, not positive 24. So those two numbers will not work. Now, because I have no number in front of x squared, I will jump straight to the conclusion and say it's x minus 4 and x minus 6. When you have no number in front of x squared, you can go straight to the conclusion. If you have a number, it's a whole different story. Hopefully we get one of those. Yes, number 11. Number 11 now has a leading coefficient of 12. The story will change here. Good question. The story changed here. With the leading coefficient, the last number is not alone anymore. To get the product, it will be 12 times -5. You got to multiply. You first do AC, which is -60. That's the product. You first do 12 times -5 to get the product. Now you would probably ask me, why didn't I do it here? I actually did it, but instead of, I say the product was -18 because it's 1 times -18. But 1 times -18 is still -18. So I didn't care. But this one I need to care. So now the product is -16, 60, and the sum is 11. I will go the lazy way. On the y equal, I will do -60. And the sum, what was it? 11. And I will go to my table, looking for identical y's. Well, the way I'm looking at it, this one is going up, 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 while this is going down, down. So I'll keep looking. You can keep scrolling up and down till you get something that you want to see. You see now they're getting closer? Oops, there it is. 15 and -4. I pressed it too many times, so it's going. It's okay. 15 and -4. So I got 15 and -4. I will rewrite this one as 12x squared minus 15x. It was 15 and -4. So it's plus 15x and minus 4x minus 5. This one you cannot jump straight to the conclusion. If it has a number in front, you have to go through all the steps. Not yet. So these two have what in common?
3x.
3x. What's left? 4x plus 5. The last two we have, this is a good one, a -1. Because you want to have identical stuff. So this is again 4x plus 5, right? So it's just 4x plus 5 and 3x minus 1. Yes?
So there are no shortcuts.
No shortcut on this one. You got to go through the whole thing. There is one, but that's guessing. I don't like to guess. Let's do this in our head without a calculator. What's the product? -12. What's the sum? 1. What are those two numbers?
It's 2x minus 9, 3x plus 2.
4 and -3.
4 and -3, because you want the sum to be positive. So you will rewrite it as 6x squared plus 4x minus 3x minus 2. So these two have 2x in common. X minus what? Actually 3x plus 2
Oh yeah, 3x.
minus 1 times 3x plus 2. So the final answer is 3x plus 2 times 2x minus 1. The last portion says factor completely. These are the last two problems? Oh yeah. Go back, how far back? The last two problems are the easiest one. What do they have in common so far? Y and a 2. And what's left? X squared minus 16. Are we done? No, look inside the parentheses. That's something cool. What is cool about it?
Oh.
You forgot this already? X minus 4, x plus 4. That's the first thing we did. These two, what do they have in common? Or these three? I see a 2 and an x. What's left? Minus x minus 6. Took the 2 out. We're not done again. Two numbers that the product gives me -6, the sum gives me -1. Product -6, sum -1. Yes, you do.
-3 and 2.
-3 and 2. And because there's no number in front of that, that will be x minus 3 and x plus 2. Of course, you keep the 2x there. And that's it. Do you have any more questions on yours? So you got half of the class to do your homework.